Hey, what's going on, guys? Battle Nations Emperor here, back today with another video. And today, guys, we have another tier list video. In today's video, we're going to be tier listing the main characters of Battle Nations. So basically, everybody who is crucial to the story or is a repeating character multiple times and interacts with the main cast, we're going to be tier ranking them strictly on how important they are, how much we like them, how cool they are, and a whole bunch of other subjective things like that. This is by far going to be my most random and most subjective tier list. We'll leave it at that. It's going to be all over the place. By all means, my S tiers could be your F tiers. My, D tiers could be your S tiers. Please do not take this one way or the other. Everybody's tier list is different, but this is what I'm going to say mine is. So have everybody here who is the main cast. We're going to start ranking them. And yeah, that's about all I wanted to say. Thank you guys so much for the support on the last few videos. They have been freaking crazy, and we are racing towards 1,000 subscribers. It's insane. Thank you guys for the support. Of course, if you guys like this video, we will do every single character, and trust me, even though we have like a dozen down here, a little over a dozen down here, this is how many characters there are in Battle Nations. So if we were to do a full character tier list, it would be like quadruple the length of this video, but we could definitely do it. So if you guys want, let me know in the comments below. With all that being said, let's jump right into this. Starting off with the big bad boy himself, Gannis. And honestly, I'm gonna go A tier. And arguably you could say that's a little bit high for him, but you know what? He really sets the tone of what this game is. It's kind of a Mad Max style wasteland. The Raiders, they could have really been great. They could have been honest to goodness nomadic people who we were just conquering as the empire, right? Going across, killing people. But no, they are crazy warlords. They're ruthless. They're tiresome. And they're exactly what you would imagine a bunch of murderous scavengers to look like. So they really set the tone of what basically the entire atmosphere of Battle Nations, but especially what Raiders are, did bloodthirsty bandits. And nobody emphasizes this more than this man right here, Gannis. He's in battle a very formidable enemy. He has a huge gun, and he looks pretty intimidating even in the game itself. So yeah, gonna give him a solid A tier. I like the dude, and yeah, he's my first A tier and my first rank. Continuing right along, we have the Raider kids, and honestly, this might be a hot take, but A tier as well. I can't say they're quite S for me, but I really like them. They really just complete Zoe, in my opinion. I think they're even better for Zoe than they are themselves. But they themselves are pretty good characters. They could have just been, stupid children that, do nothing but trouble or, just one-off side pieces. But they're not. They're very nice, fleshed-out characters. If I had to compare them to something, I would compare them to the children Smurfs in the Smurfs series. They're certainly children and they certainly act like it, but they themselves are characters intrinsic to the story itself. Of course, they have their own little tank, and that's how they appear in battle, besides, of course, the first time you meet them, where they just look like, random enemy warriors, which they're not. But nevertheless, they're very nice. I love their character, and I personally believe they're a good addition to the game. Again, I don't know how popular that take is, but that's just my opinion. And yeah, they're A tier for me as well. Moving right along, we got the Sheriff, and oh, buddy, I could put you at A tier. I gotta drop you down to B. It's not too terribly much about you, and honestly, I gotta just be honest, there's not too terribly much to dig there. We love the work you do at Recoil Ridge. You're by far the strongest level 2 city in the entire game. His entire base is level 2. I still, to this day, cannot get over that. He has an advanced wood. He has steel. He has lumber. Look at this base. This is not the base of a level 2 player, but yet he is. He'll never beat the hacking allegations, but all jokes aside, he's a very nice character. Your stereotypical, no-nonsense sheriff character. I think he could defend the colony if it came down to it, but, I mean, even still, he is willing to help us. He has helped us several times throughout multiple battles. This is, of course, what he looks like in the game itself. And yeah, not complaining here. I think he's a great character. Just maybe a little bit more fleshed out would be nice. We'll give him a few more stories. And, he is in several missions. I wish we had more him missions, if that makes sense. We're always going to Recoil Ridge because we need something from them, or they're being attacked by some individual. But just, give us a him story. Or maybe a background story for him just to flesh him out a little bit. But until we get that, personally saying B. Not bad, but a little bit basic, and hopefully we can get some more in the future. And moving right along, we have Dr. Harris, and I'm not going to condemn her to D tier, but I will have to put her at C tier. She's just too patronizing, too condemning to the player, in my opinion. She's responsible for a lot of bad stuff and theorized to have done even worse. But even just her character, how she interacts with how she interacts with other people around her, she's very antagonistic, very narcissistic. She thinks she's better than everybody else. She's constantly looking down on other people. And it's like, I don't care if you are smarter. You probably are smarter than just about everybody except Floyd. I'm sorry, I still think Floyd's smarter than you. But besides Floyd, I think she is probably smarter than everybody around her. But at the end of the, and, besides Aurora too, I think Aurora is also smarter than her. But besides those two people, right, you might be smarter than everybody else. But at the end of the day, you're too mean, and you're too just, I hate to say it, but vicious to other people. So for that, I gotta put you at C tier. Moving right along, we have Aurora, and this might be a hot take, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. A tier for Aurora because she is amazing. She is a lovely scientist. She works at Installation 17. She does great work for the Empire, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This is like my favorite part about her. She plays Battle Nations. For anybody who doesn't know, this is what she looks like in-game, and in-game, one of her attacks when calling down an attack, she does this. If you look closely right there on her screen, you can see she is playing Battle Nations. So she plays Battle Nations and Battle Nations. In my opinion, one of the greatest things ever. I honestly want to give her S tier, but objectively speaking, A tier still. Just insane. I absolutely adore that. Great character besides that. She does state that she was afraid of people at one point, which, fair enough. She is probably the reason Installation 17 and the Empire as a whole has technology like plasma, like the Royal Wasp. Just anything you can think that is highly technologically advanced that we have the ability to train or collect, besides ancient technology. Of course, she isn't responsible for that. But everything else that we actually manufacture purely by ourselves, she's probably responsible for. Absolutely adore her. A tier. Moving right along, we have Crazy Blades, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna stock A tier probably, but I mean, seriously, A tier. She's one of my favorite warlords. She's stealthy, she kind of speaks in rhymes sometimes. She trains all of the Dustwalkers, these bad boys right here. She herself is basically the super Dustwalker. She can one-tap a lot of your units, especially once she gets elite, later on into the last bit of her quest line. She's extremely cool, I think thought out, and yeah, one of my favorite warlords in the entire game. And continuing right along, we have the Bandit Reef Chief. I'm sorry, man. Do I want to put you down with her? Yeah, I am. I'm sorry, dude. I hate to say it, but yeah, D tier for... I'm sorry, not D tier. C tier for me, simply because we can't understand a word he says without Karen. He speaks in rhymes. He's very hostile to us. And you could say, oh, he's just like the, raiders. He's just a nomadic person. Well, yeah, but he's also a bandit. And that's more so of just the sea, which I find even more insulting than being it on land. Because, I'm sorry, dude, you just kind of appear like a pirate to me. So with all that being said, yeah, you're C tier for me. Moving right along, we have Yankovic. And oh boy, I can't put you at S tier. I really want to put you at S tier. I got to put you at A tier. One of my favorite side stories in all of Battle Nations. Long story short, explained it multiple times, so I will go quick because I imagine most of us know. But in case you do not, Yankovic is a raider in Battle Nations. She's a female raider who was saved by Morgan, our Morgan, in a fight. Because of this, she falls in love with Morgan, yet multiple raider men within her village fall in love with her. So, to have a shot with them, they travel to our base in an attempt to kill Morgan. This happens once, you think it's just a one-off instance, then it happens with pretty much every single raider type in the entire game, all the way up to Saren himself, who battles you for this girl. Morgan defeats them all, and yeah, it's an ongoing quest. We never saw what she looked like, even though she has to just be the, prettiest girl on earth, like absolutely perfect. So, yeah, besides her probably looking like a 10 out of 10, or if not an 11 out of 10, we never saw her face. She is still, to this day, in love with Morgan, as far as we know. and I think it's one of the funniest things in the world. I think Morgan is just so funny because he himself is indifferent. If anything, he hates it simply because of all the people showing up on his doorstep to try to kill him. But yeah, he's in good faith about it. Absolutely think it's one of the funniest quest lines in all of Battle Nations. And with all that being said, A tier. Kind of want to put you at S tier. Now I'm going to leave you at A tier. But yeah, definitely one of my favorite side characters, which I would say argues into a main character because she gets multiple other missions. She gets one for the Valentine's Day mission where she gives this to Morgan. She gives him a big old statue in his honor. Quite very nice. Well, not necessarily in his honor, but she gives it to him. And yeah, absolutely love it. Hope Madrona Games expands on the storyline. And yeah, that's why she's an A tier for me. Moving right along, we got Trunk, and I'm sorry to do this to you, bud, but I'm going to have to put you at B tier. You're not as bad as the C tier categories, not by a long shot, but I hate to say it, dude. You're still a B tier for me. You're funny, you're great. I think you're fantastic for the first warlord we meet. You're kind of like the first one we initiate in battle to the point we try to kill on their own territory, which I feel is a big milestone for us. Of course, we're led there by our boy Ramsey and Morgan. Thankfully, it goes well, but there's not much going on behind there, you know. I mean, in terms of his base, but also especially his brain. He wants to kill us. He says vulgar things. Morgan gets over it very quickly. And yeah, this is what it looks like in battle. He launches various different explosives at us, which, yeah, they can be pretty hard, especially your second go-around when the game gets, harder at higher levels. But nevertheless, he's still not that scary at all. You don't really worry about him. And in my opinion, he's just an alright character. Not to the extent of, he's bad, but, I mean, he's a bloodthirsty warlord. That's like half of the characters in this game. So yeah, B tier for me. Wish he had a little bit more defining features, but he's still alright, especially his design. I do love how he looks. And right along after that, we have Saren, and yeah, gotta be honest for you, bro. You're another A tier for me. Out of all the people they could have picked to be a sniper, I'm glad they picked him, and oh my goodness, does he look cool in battle. In my opinion, he's the coolest of all the warlords. I'll go ahead and say it. In battle, he's the coolest. Just look at this guy, like seriously. So, absolutely adore this guy. He's freaking amazing. He has some pretty interesting things, especially later on when the warlords kind of scatter after Gannis's, lockdown. And yeah, of course, Trunk takes over. Then he gets kicked out. Then it's Saren. And well, that's where the two kind of shut down. But it was leading to they're probably going to kick out Saren. Then it was going to be Crazy Blades. And my personal fanfic is that we were going to take out Crazy Blades and then establish Tots. But I don't know that for a fact. That's just my personal fan theory. But yeah, with all that being said, absolutely love Saren here. A tier for me. And continuing right along, speaking of the man himself, he's right next in line. So perfect. We have Tots and... I'm sorry, man, B tier. I know I was just hyping you up. But I gotta be honest, man. Wish you had a little bit more character. You're cool in battle. You basically just bring your fisticuffs. And... I mean, you're alright. You're good. You're very helpful for the storyline. If we were rating morality here, you'd definitely be higher. But as far as character development, yeah, man, there's just a lot more that is left to be desired, in my opinion. I appreciate you for being like the one Raider good guy who's a leader in the entire game, honestly, because I can't think of like a single other Raider leader off the top of my head who is a good guy throughout the entire story. So, except this guy right here, he's pretty much goated. Absolutely love you for being a good guy, but... just wish there was some more character development there, man. I mean, again, cool that you fight with your fisticuffs in battle. Again, this is how he looks in battle. Appreciate that, but just wish he had a little bit more, man. And continuing right along, we have Oh, my goodness. Do we put him at S tier? Nah, he doesn't deserve to be the first S tier. I'm sorry, and maybe that sounds mean, but it's just how I feel. And I still got to put him at A tier. You know why I got to put him at A tier? Because he is so freaking good. I absolutely adore this freaking guy. And I can't rank him anything lower. Because he fights with his fisticuffs too. Just like Tots, how we talked about before. But he has a little bit more pep in his step. He jumps around. He's flamboyant with it. He gets, gives him the old haymaker. Even though it's not a haymaker. Even the trivia says that about him. But still... point being is he's a very fast and loose fighter. absolutely adore his animation when he's fighting. And just his character, man. He's hunting down for ancient technology. He'll bribe, steal, and pretty much do anything he can to learn more about it. But he's not obsessed with it. It's just his personal hobby right now. He wants to figure out what their deal is, and he's doing it by himself. Fair enough. So yeah, absolutely adore this man. And that's why, in my opinion, he goes in A tier. Continuing right along, we have Karen Winters. Oh, she's definitely not going in C tier. Can we put her in A tier? You know what? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Karen, I gotta put you at B tier. And I hate that. You're definitely first place in B tier. Let me go ahead and move that. Because, I'm sorry, girl. I absolutely love where you are. You are an amazing girlfriend to Perkins. If I had to imagine Perkins' girlfriend, it's literally you. So, absolutely adore that. Cannot wait for that to get canonized. But until the day you still fit the perfect role, you translate for us. Appreciate the work you do there. And for me, I'm sorry, you're B tier. Only because until you start dating Roy Perkins officially, you're really not part of the gang, if that makes sense. You know, I could totally see you as part of the crew once you start dating Perkins, as we will get into with another girlfriend who I believe became a main character once she started dating one of the definitive main cast. But until you start doing that, you're still B tier for me. So again, love the work you do for the Empire. Appreciate you being a translator. But at the end of the day, you're still B tier for me. And continuing right along, we have Perface. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say it. I can't put her at B. A tier again because she is so good. She's goated. She's actually amazing. I love her. I think she's a great mascot for the game. She is based off a real freaking cat. This is what that cat looked like playing its own mission in Battle Nations, which is freaking awesome right here. So absolutely love this image. Just wanted to let you guys know it is in fact a real cat. So I think that's awesome. If I ever did get a cat, I would probably want to get this cat right here and then maybe Scooby-Doo. But, like, that's insane, the fact that it was a real cat. I didn't know that until, honestly, researching for Perface. I didn't know that when initially playing the game. But, honestly, after learning that information, it makes Perface even better, in my opinion. It's not only Ramsey's cat, but it was a real-life cat. And the fact that real-life cats can even look like this cat, pretty freaking cool. A tier for me. I love the fact that this is the main mascot of the 95th Regiment. And continuing right along, we have General Ash. C, no. D, of course not. Full stop. First S tier. I know that's crazy. I wasn't actually going to put him anything low like that. Are you kidding me? In my opinion, one of the greatest written villains of any early 2010s mobile game. Absolutely adore this guy. It is insane the arc this man has. First of all, leader of the Imperial Army, full general, head of everything. He leads all forces for the Empire. He looks like this, is well, proper groomed, ready to kill anything, and he is definitive on this task. However, some trouble or bruise. Right before the rebellion is about to die, he switches side. That's right. Full stop goes to the rebel side, and the rebels, who were literally on their last leg, one defeat away from complete collapse, completely turn the tide around. They push the Empire back on all fronts, get several different holdings. They take multiple different cities and just establish themselves with the leadership of General Ash. Various different stories happen, various different things within the campaign. He is the main villain, I would argue, for most of the game, and in my opinion, one of the best villains in all of Battle Nations. And it continues to go on until eventually the final mission with him happens, which, spoiler alert for the end of Battle Nations, he pulls his best victory yet. He tricks us and pretty much all other Imperial armies to the corner of the continent, then attacks Karsten, the capital of the Empire. And since this guy right here, the current emperor, decided to have not a single division wait back to garrison the capital. No, he sent everything off. There was nobody protecting them. The rebels traveled through the mountains overlooking the capital and striking very quickly out of the mountains in a blitzkrieg-like motion, meeting practically no resistance, not even little, but no resistance. They slaughtered every single civilian. They completely captured the city within several hours, and of course, the emperor himself, who they promptly executed. Very few survivors were found after this, one of them saying later that the entire city was burned to the ground and left as a crater. So after that, General Ash comes up to us and says he wants to become an Imperial again. That's right, he wants to convert back to the Empire after killing the Emperor. Somehow Morgan and Ramsay are just like, yeah, we'll give him a shot. Which, I mean, sure, I guess. So they travel to him, and well, unfortunately, on the way to meet us, he is abruptly attacked by his own men who realize he's about to convert back to the Empire. They attack him, and in one very last cool battle, we meet up with Morgan, Ramsay, and Ash. We control Ash for the first freaking time. We get to play as General Ash. It's so freaking cool. And after that battle, though, it's unfortunately a canonized event. No matter how much you can protect him, even if he doesn't take a single hit, he, story-wise, takes a mortal wound and dies talking to Lieutenant Morgan, saying to Morgan, somebody has infiltrated your crew. There's an imposter among you, and he wants to destroy everything. You have to protect yourself, Morgan. These people are among you. You have to stop the spy. The rebellion is being manipulated. It's insane. And then he dies. And that's pretty much the story of General Ash. And it kind of left off after that because Z2 would, of course, unfortunately shut down. But they were intending in the next chapter, the next story chapter of Battle Nations, to reveal more about that. More importantly, who the mastermind was and who the spy was. Because we still, to this day, have no clue. We will never know. And that just, that grinds my gears. But we will one day figure it out. But for the time being, Ash, you heard how long I talked about you, man. You are in that S tier. I absolutely adore your story. Incredibly well-written character. Looks super freaking cool. And yeah, he is my first S tier character. Moving right along, we have Emperor Hedrick the Second. D tier. I'm sorry, man. Like, full stop. Like, you might go, really? And yes, really. Bro, how do you fumble this? We were the Empire. We had everything. We were established. We owned the continent. We had General Ash on her side. And he blew it. He blew all of it. His father, and especially his grandfather, laid down the fabric for him to lead everything. And he didn't even have to raise a finger. He could have just stayed there and let it ride. But he couldn't. He just couldn't bear that. And him, in his pride and his ego, he couldn't do that. And what he had to do is make it about him. He had to interject himself at every single thing. He had to make himself the boss, even when he did it. He's basically the Kaiser. And just as the Kaiser lost World War I, and at least he got to escape with his life, he got to live in the Netherlands somehow. They never prosecuted him. It wasn't like Hitler who was, killed himself. But oh shoot, I just realized I can't get this video monetized since I said his name. Whatever, I don't even get videos monetized right now, so it's no bother. Nevertheless, back to this guy. So, yeah, as you can tell, pretty passionately hate this dude. He deserves all the criticism because he could have just laid down and let the Empire do its thing. But through his obscenely poor leadership, he collapsed a, not even decades, century spanning empire, from what we know of, could have even been a lot longer than that, and just destroyed it in a single generation through his incredibly bad actions. I hate you with a passion, Hedrick II, and I don't know how General Ash executed you, but it wasn't painful enough. D tier, and if I had an F tier, he would be F tier. Continuing right along, we have his father, Trajan, and, honestly, B tier. I was gonna even consider an A tier, but honestly, still B tier. Of course, he inherited from his father, Hedric the Great, and Trajan, he was no slacker. He industrialized the lands, as is according to the Battle Nations intro, and he did a great freaking job. When the lands were conquered by his father, he, of course, did a great job uniting and forcing all of the lands under the Imperial thumb. But the problem is, they were still ruled. They didn't really have any major value. And the problem with that is, of course, if you want to make money, if you want to make power, and of course, if you want a super strong industry and military, which, of course, we Imperials do, you need a very industrialized workforce. So, that's what he did. Again, I wish I could tell you a little bit more details, but all we really know is, of course, the Battle Nations intro, where we get this exact one-sentence line right here. But again, it gives us a good interpretation. We see these factories rise in the background. And yeah, he industrialized the lands. Would adore if Madrona Games want to expand this story. All of the Emperor stories, really, but especially Trajan, and then especially his father, Hedric the Great. But yeah, even from what we know, industrializing a land is not an easy process. Talking to you, Mao. I mean, I already mentioned one, insane murderous dictator. Might as well mention another. Maybe I can shoehorn Stalin into this if I try hard enough. But nevertheless, that's where we're going to leave Trajan at. Absolutely love you, my dude. Gonna put you at B tier. And continuing right along, we have the great Hedric. A tier, my dude. I absolutely freaking love this guy. Could honestly even put him at S tier, but we'll keep him at A tier. The very first of the great emperors established the current ruling Imperial bloodline. Amazing guy. He united all of the rural lands under his control through his exceptionally good military leadership. Was one of the greatest emperors the Empire has ever had. Absolutely adore this man. And yeah, we love him here. So yeah, A tier, dude. We absolutely adore the work you did for the Empire. Keep it up. And continuing right along, we have Cassidy. And my girl goes... Where does she go? I can't put her in B. I was going to put her in B tier and then like da-da-da-da-da. But you know what? Unlike Kieran, who I literally put in B tier and said you need to, make things official with Perkins... Cassidy's done that. So for that, she gets A tier, and we're going to put her... I haven't really cared about this. We'll just drop her in the middle then. Yeah, she's super cool. Absolutely love her freaking character. She is great. And honestly, in my opinion, she well earns A tier because she is a great sniper. She's a very cool sniper early on. I wish they made her stronger as you got along, just naturally. But Z2 definitely felt the same way, but instead of just making her naturally stronger, they said, what if we just completely redesigned her? And that's what they did. They made her go from a natural, homegrown, rural town sniper, because she grew up in Recoil Ridge, into a full-blown freaking scientist, because that's right, she partners and joins up with Installation 17 later on in the game, and she gets this incredibly cool redesign, and all of her attacks are much freaking stronger. She can pack a punch later on. I just wish she could have packed a punch with her regular sniper, But, hey, maybe that sniper had its limits. It obviously did. And that's why she decided to, ditch the sniper altogether and go for Installation 17 knowledge. So, can't knock on that. Absolutely love what she did. Adore her. And that's why she's A tier for me. And continuing with the last character right here of this batch, we have Captain Pike. I'm sorry, man. Gotta put you at A tier as well. Are you kidding me? I absolutely love you, dude. You leave a little bit more to be desired, of course, but you're still the leader of the rebellion against the Sovereign Navy. You're our friend. You're the leader of Port City. You lead your people well. You look super freaking cool. Out of all the things late game Z2 did wrong, mainly because they were being controlled by entities that didn't really care about them, they did one thing definitively right, and that was designing Captain Pike right here. Oh my goodness, bro looks so freaking cool. Absolutely, I love what they did with his design. He's a great A tier character for me. He's a good alcoholic along with Morgan. And yeah, just a great freaking dude. Love him. Keep it up. And then they were just the big five. Of course, had to save, in my opinion, the best five for last because it's the main five, you know? So, without any further ado, let's just jump right into them. Starting off with the myth, the legend, Morgan himself. And Morgan, gotta be honest with you, you're my first, second S tier. It's Morgan. Heck no, you ain't going in there. You ain't gonna get out of A tier. Get into S tier. It's Morgan. How could I freaking not? Of course, have to include my boy at S tier. I freaking love him so much. He is so freaking goated. Literally, I would argue, shoot, if we're not going with either of the logos, you know, any of the orange caps, whether it be the current one or the one back in the day, yeah, this game has one logo, and it's Morgan's face. It's Morgan's silly little alcoholic face right here. And yeah, with that being said, bro, he's S tier for me. He's permanent S tier. Absolutely love you, Morgan. I hope you stay the face of the game, because in my opinion, you're one funny little dude. Easy S tier for me. And continuing right along, we got Floyd, and this might be a little bit controversial, but I just got to be honest. I'm sorry, dude. A tier. Top A tier. You're first place in A tier. We'll go ahead and rearrange this too a little bit. But I got to be honest, man. With that being said, you are definitely an A tier, in my opinion. I'm sorry. Nothing terribly wrong with that. Is what it is. But, like, bruh. You know? We'll go ahead and fix that up at the very end once we've placed everybody. But yeah, nothing wrong with Floyd. I just feel he's one of the weaker of the main cast. He's normally explaining something, going into detail about something. But what really gets me is he's just kind of a little bit of a jerk, you know? He went motorbiking with Ramsey when he told Morgan not to do it. And, you know, he is just that type of guy, if that makes sense. If there is a spy, which we do know for a fact there is a spy among the main group, at least according to the main story from the original game, I believe it to be Floyd. Of course, Tio made that prediction a while back, and I'm honestly kind of going with it. Out of all the people who could be the spy, I'm looking at you, Floyd. I'm looking at you. That's all I'm going to say. And yeah, A tier for me. Continuing right along, we got S tier for Zoe. I mean, come on. Come on, it's freaking Zoe. Are you kidding me? It's so hard to write a female in a game like this and have people like her. And then they wrote Zoe. They actually made it work. Because, I'm sorry, but if you put somebody like Aurora into the main cast, like I mean the original cast, I don't think it goes well. I'm sorry, I genuinely don't. And I think she's even seen worse as Floyd. But they somehow, someway, fit a female lead in the main cast and make it work perfectly. I literally cannot see the game as it currently exists without Zoe, because you made it perfect for her. Who runs the tool shop? Who takes care of the raider kids? Who makes sure we have constant supply of explosives and fires on the base? Without Zoe, I don't see these things existing, at the very least how they currently do. So, in my opinion, she isn't a good character. Heck, she is one of the fundamental building blocks of this game. So with all that being said, easy S tier for, honestly, my older sister. Absolutely adore this woman. She is one of the best parts of Battle Nations. Cannot wait to see her in future missions, because she will be in future missions. She better be. And yeah, easy S tier for me. Continuing right along, we got the myth, the man, the legend himself, Ramsey. Ramsey, I still gotta put you at S tier. Not in front of Zoe, but still gonna put you at S tier. Bro, I freaking love you. Out of all the people we could have as our main tough guy, as our main head general, our lieutenant when there's reckoning to be reckoned with, it is easily this guy right here. I freaking love Ramsey with a passion, man. Ramsey is our top in command. He heads our military at the 95th Regiment. And honestly, I just trust, bro. Like, at the end of the day, if it comes down to it, I want him by my side in a fight. And I say that not just because his minigun in-game is so freaking good. It's the main reason you get so hyped up for the heavy gunner and then get so disappointed by him. And then why heavy actually deserves to have nanopod spin on him. Actually, even outside of the fact that he's just heavy from TF2. He is actually what you expect when you want your own Ramsey. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Point being, what I'm trying to say here, is I do trust this guy in battle, even if it wasn't for the fact that he's legitimately, stat-wise, good in battle. It's just because he's about that life. Like, honestly, if I'm about to walk into something, that might even be an ambush. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to live through this. I want to walk in with somebody like Ramsey. I want somebody like Ramsey to have my back. And I personally believe that's why we see Morgan every single time he's about to go into a situation where, you know, all jokes aside, he is serious. Like, even he knows there's danger. Like, for example, one of the very last missions in the game when he has to meet up with General Ash for the last time, who does he bring with him? Ramsey. When he goes to Trunks base for the very first time, the first ever Raider warlord you really take on, who does he bring next to him? Ramsey. Anytime Morgan is in a life or death serious moment and needs to pick one person to go with, who does he pick? Ramsey. You always pick this man life or death scenario because you know if you need your ride or die, if you need somebody who's going to have your back and make sure you don't go down, it's this guy right here. I love you, Ramsey. You're a freaking GOAT. Easy S tier, in my opinion. And with that being said, and a plane go over my head in real life, I hope it's actually in the background now, otherwise it's going to sound stupid. But nevertheless, with it flying through, and with us being left with one character, the final character, Perkins. Perkins. S tier. I'm sorry, man. I can't put you at A tier with Floyd. I just freaking love him. Perkins is Perkins, man. He's freaking goated. He's cool, and I freaking love him. He literally starts off in the beginning of the game. You train Perkins if you prefer to believe that method, and I personally do. It's my belief that that first ever trooper you're forced to train is Perkins himself. And honestly, it just works out so well, you know? Take a second and really step back and think about it. You start off with Perkins nearly at the beginning of the game, right after you finish the tutorial. Heck, while you're still going through the tutorial, a lot of people would argue, including myself. You get him. He is a very freshly trained unit. He doesn't know a thing. He himself will literally hold a grenade with its pin pulled out and not see a problem with that. He is a kid. He is sweethearted. He is nice. But at the end of the day, he's kind of a stupid. He is, but he's very redeeming. He truly does, in my opinion, I believe, have a pure heart, just like Zoe. He's very kind. He's very honest. He's a good person at the end of the day, and he's just tortured for it. Like, Morgan hates his guts for no reason whatsoever besides just being inexperienced. Everybody else views him as a little weird just because at the end of the day, he is a little bit weird, even I have to admit that. And despite all of the stuff we try to trash on him, besides all the stuff we try to talk bad about him, I mean, he's our boy. He's Perkins. I got to admit, I love him. And for the Halloween event, when, you know, we thought he was actually gone forever because the Halloween event tried to lead us up to believe Perkins had actually died at the end there, especially when Perkins became a walker. I mean, look how terrifying this is, right? You genuinely thought Perkins had become a zombie here. And I'm not going to lie, it hurt me. When I first played this game back in 2013, I first played this mission back in 2011, I think. No, it was 2013, yeah, I remembered it correctly the first time. I was actually hurt because I didn't want to see Perkins go. So, you know, I was very happy it was a fake out. This was Perkins wearing a costume for anybody curious. That's how they explained it. But yeah, I freaking love you, dude. I would be terribly saddened to see if something did happen to you. We ended off Z2's Battle Nations with you finally getting trained up. He would take shots more confidently. He would stand up straight. And just stuff like that. Do I want to see how that happened again in Madrona Games? Abso-freaking-lutely. But if Madrona Games wants to play out the story a little bit longer, maybe make him a little bit more skittish, maybe make him shy, and, you know, rewrite his ending to make it a little bit longer, maybe work in something there with Karen Winters, I think needs to be a must. Because I truly believe the way you make Karen go from a B tier character all the way up to an A, maybe even S tier character, is you get her an official relationship with Perkins. I don't think that's something she has to do. I think that's something Perkins has to do. So Perkins, buddy, step up your A game. You're low S tier right now, but I think you're the heart of Battle Nations to an extent. And I think you have massive opportunities to rise even within S tier. So with that being said, still love you, dude. You're still an S tier for me. And let's go ahead and rework some of these guys here. Go ahead and place everybody around in here. You right there. All the lower rankings look good. Raider kids, I'm gonna have to throw way up here. Okay. And Captain Pike. I don't know, I kind of like Captain Pike. He's pretty freaking good. He's not that good, though. Alright, and Gannis isn't awful. He's kind of the worst of the warlords. Aurora, though, you're better. Same with you, Cassidy. And I'm not putting the Emperor that low. He's a previous Emperor. I have to respect that. Yeah. Alrighty, looks good. This is my final last tier list. Again, extremely subjective, so if you disagree with it, perfectly fine. But yeah, this is where I put my tier list at. So yeah, guys, that will just about do it for today's video. I am coming out of retirement. It's been 3 days since my last upload. Yeah, I basically took a retirement there. Sorry about that, guys. Just got sick, slept through it, and I kept thinking to myself, oh, I'll get better the next day, and it just kept getting worse for a little bit there. But I'm back ready as ever. My birthday and the channel's anniversary is the 19th, so I don't think we'll unfortunately hit 1,000 subscribers before then. But that's totally my fault, so I apologize. But glad to have come back with this main character tier list. Glad to get back in the rhythm of daily uploads and just start uploading again in general. So yeah, guys, that will just about do it for today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider dropping a like down below and subscribing to the channel if you are new. If you have any questions, suggestions, have your own tier list, agree with my tier list, disagree with my tier list, think there's a character here that, should have been placed differently, let me know, of course, in the comments down below, as long as it's respectful towards everybody and is somewhat Battle Nations related. Anything goes. If you have a suggestion for a future video or something you want me to change about future videos to make them better, please let me know. I'd love to hear in the comments down below. And yeah, guys, that will just about do it for us today. Thank you very much for watching this video all the way through. I greatly appreciate you for watching it to completion. Again, trying to make these videos better, especially since I just came back and we're coming up on 1,000 subscribers and we're 3 days away from my birthday and 1 year anniversary of the channel. That's so freaking crazy. Dang, yeah, it's been a long journey. I'm glad to have been it. Glad to have had you guys the entire way. Thank you guys so much for that. And yeah, with all that being said, I'll stop yapping. Either this video is going to be an hour long, or it's going to be right under an hour long. So we'll see how that comes after editing. And yeah, guys, that will just about do it for us. Or no, I'm sorry, that will do it for us today, guys. Thank you very much for watching today's Battle Nations main character tier list. And as always, have a great rest of your day.